Tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how you can make an ability that allows you to push people away from you. So for example, if this is me right here, right? And this is some enemy. I'll press Q and this guy will get blasted away. And it's really cool because you can turn and even if you do, well, whoops. If you're like right here, this guy will be blasted away still, just in proportion to how he's facing you. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do is go to Start a GUI, and I'm going to delete the script that I already have there. And I'm going to add another local script. And we're going to do local UIS is equal to game get service user input service. So user input service is a service that handles all the input that a player or a client does. So mouse clicks, key presses, all that stuff. So we want to do this. UIS.inputBegin connect function key chat. What this does is that whenever an input begins, it connects to a function that checks for the key and whether this happened during chat, so when the player was typing. So if chat, then return. We don't want any of this to happen. Like, we don't want the following code to run if this player was chatting. Else, so the player is not typing, what do we do now? Now we want to know what key they press. So if key.keycode is equal to enum keycode.q, then, so enum is just like it just tells you that this is a type of data, right? There's a bunch of different types, there's materials. You just want to use enum for this. And then, yeah, so then what? So right now let's do print hello to see if it works. And then we don't need anything else. We don't need an else. We just want to know if it's Q. And I'm also going to delete this script while we're in the, yeah, all right. So now I press Q. This is hello, right? That's great. All right. So now let's actually make the push. So in order for this to work, we have to use a remote event. And as you can see, I've already added a remote event, but you can just do that by clicking the plus, then remote event, and I renamed it to push. So now what we want to do is, we don't even need to make it a variable. We just say game get service replicated storage dot push fire server, and we don't need to do anything else. So it just says, okay, load the replicated storage, find its child push, and fire it to the server. Because right now we're on the client. Anything this client sees is not replicated towards other players. So this guy, if we just continue coding like this, he'd be seeing this guy being pushed away, but that guy wouldn't have been pushed away. He would just be normal. So that's why we need to do that. We need to talk to the server. Okay, so next we do like kind of the inverse of this. So now instead of firing, we're doing when this is fired. So we do the same thing, dot push, but now we do on server event connect function player. So now whenever this event push is fired from the client to the server, this function, whatever this code is, will be run. All right, so now we need to do one thing. We need to find the character. We need to know who is the character. What is a character of the player? So we just do local car is equal to player dot character. Easy as that. Now you just want to know the humanoid root part because that's where the center is. So local root is equal to car find first child humanoid root part. Now we need to have a hitbox. So a lot of people, they like to use just a normal part, and you can do a dot touched effect or function. But I don't want to use that. I want to use something that's it's actually simpler in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about firing a bunch of instances of touched and then like taking a lot of memory on your computer. We're gonna use something called it's kind of like region 3s. I'll show you right now. So we want to do a couple things. We want to define size. So I think this box is 9 by 9 by 9, so that's a good size. So local size is equal to vector3.new 9 by 9 by 9. We want to put this variable outside because we don't want to run it all the time. It's the same. So yeah. So now we do this. So local hits is equal to workspace get parts oh my gosh, I can't speak. Get part bounds in box. We do root.cframe because we want it to be like a force push everywhere. So like this guy, no matter if he's near somebody, they'll get pushed away. They don't have to be. They don't have to be just in front of him. They can be behind him, you know, to the side. So just the very center of them. So their C-frame, right? And then we do size, and that's it. So what this does is it basically makes this part, but it just like does that on its own, and then finds all the parts that are inside. So yes, this character itself would also be included. All the body parts, see the head, the arms, the legs, they'll be included. But the accessories, the handles will be because they're actual parts, but not like the actual accessory. Humanoid, pant, shirt, body colors, those are not going to be. Scripts, obviously not. So that's really good because touch will include all those in the way we're about to use them, which I guess this will too, but I like this. So now we want to know, out of all the hits, we want to know a couple things. We want to know, is the hit, is it part of a model? Because all characters are part of a model. Is it the same as the person actually giving the ability? So you don't want to hit yourself. And have they already been hit? We don't want them to be hit. We want to be like, you know, doubling. So we have to do some iterating magic. So we don't care about, so this underscore means that we don't care about the index, because it's going to give us an indexed list, which means that it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, and then for one is like part, 2 is head. It's just going to do like that. We don't care about that, so we're just going to do an underscore hit and hits do. So now we have to do like this long if statement. If hit.parent is a model, right? And hit.parent find first child humanoid, and hit.parent .name is not equal to player.name. And then one more thing, we have to add this local enemies and just set it equal to an empty table, because these are going to be the list of all the enemies that we have, all the people that need to be pushed away. And table and not, because we don't want this to happen. Table.find enemies, and then hit.parent, because you can put instances in a table. Then, well, we want to add this to the table. So table.insert enemies, hit.parent, and let's just print enemies. Let's see what happens. We get 2 people get a rig, and then we get the rig and the other rig. So it's working great. So now we have our enemies, but now we actually have to apply the effect, the pushing effect. Now we're going to use something called a vector force. So you might have seen this rig moving. It's because I created a vector force instance, and I attached it to the root attachment. You can test it out by yourself. I'm not going to go into the specifics of this. There's only like 2 or 3 things that really matter, and I'll be talking about some of them as we script. So let's go in, and now for enemy, actually we have to do the same thing for the underscore enemy. In enemies, do local force is equal to instance.new vector force. We want to know about the enemy's root part. So local e root, I guess, enemy root is equal to enemy.humanoid root part. So force dot attachment 0 is equal to e root dot find. Okay, well, it's called root attachment. Next, we want to do force dot relative to is equal to enum. Okay, enum world. We want to make it relative to the world for this fancy math we're about to do. So now we have to do the actual strength. So I'm going to put the strength as another variable up here. Strength is equal to negative 1500. Now this might be wrong. I can never get the plus or minus right. I think it might be plus. So let's do that. And now we want to get the direction of where should this be. So this is what we're going to do. Local direction, where should this force be applied? That's what I'm trying to say. Is equal to e root dot position minus root, so the character's root dot position dot unit. So what this dot unit does is it makes everything a number between 0 and 1, so then we can easily scale it to our strength. So now we can do this. Force dot force is equal to direction times times strength, and then we just parent it to the enemy. Force dot parent is equal to e root. Let's see if this works. So yeah, that's being pushed away. Oh, I keep forgetting to do this. We have to delete it after a while. So it works, right? That's great. But it just keeps pushing the enemy. So we don't want to make that. We want them to be pushed, not to be pushed forever. So we use the debris server. So game get service debris add item force, and for after 0.25 seconds it'll be deleted. So these people are in my range. They're both getting pushed. So yeah, you can adapt this to, you know, use an animation. You can make them take damage. It's really cool. And I think it's a really cool effect. Body vectors, or I mean, they used to be called body vectors, but now they're vector forces. They're really cool. So check them out. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you.